Bula Vinaka and welcome to Close Up. It's that time of the year again when students get back into school mode. Primary and secondary school terms started last week, while tertiary institutions are gearing up for the new calendar year in the coming weeks. Tonight on the show, we feature one of the three leading universities in the region, the University of the South Pacific. We catch up with the man at the helm of the university, Professor Rajesh Chandra, and find out what plans the higher education institution has for 2014. Thank you so much, Vice Chancellor Professor Chandra, for your time today. Sir, first of all, how do you describe the year 2013 for the University of the South Pacific?
Thank you very much, Halitesh. 2013 was a very important year for us, and it was also a particularly successful year. It was important because it was the first year for us to roll out our new strategic plan, which would see the plan completed in 2018, will also take us to a milestone event, which is the 50th anniversary. So in that sense, it was a very important year where we spent a lot of time rolling out the plan, making sure that our stakeholders understood what the plan meant, why the university was doing those things, and also what roles they would play. It was also a particularly successful year because we exceeded nearly all of the expectations of the Senate and Council.
Are there any particular highlights that stood out for you?
We successfully completed our external quality audit by the Academic Quality Agency of New Zealand Universities. This was a 5-yearly quality audit, and a lot of developments that had taken place would depend on the validation by an external quality agency. We were also able to go through our AMBA quality or accreditation for the MBA program, as well as obtain provisional accreditation for two new computer science programs in net-centric computing and software engineering. We completed a lot of work to ensure that we build a new campus in Kiribati, a new campus in Solomon Islands. So preparatory work for that was very important. It's a big milestone for us to get an Asian Development Bank loan and to use it as a source of financing. We are going to tender for a campus in Lautoka, and we are in preparatory stages for a new campus in Marshall Islands, as well as for significant expansion of our campus in Tonga.
The university has mapped out its strategic plan for the period 2013 to 2018. Can you elaborate on what this plan means for the future of the institution?
It is a very transformative plan, and I think this is what distinguishes it from the previous plan, which was more about getting the university back on track. It was all about consolidating and creating a foundation. In this new plan, we have the space to think much bigger, to be more ambitious, and to give more encouragement to everybody in the Pacific that even with all our problems and the limitations of resources, institutions and governments all can actually perform much better and transform themselves for excellence.
Over the year, the university has entered into a wide range of agreements and partnership with various entities and organizations. How will this benefit the institution?
The university has over 100 agreements and MOUs with universities, with other institutions, with crop agencies, and with governments. And all of that is designed to give more opportunities for our students to, for instance, go and study and gain experience in other universities, for other universities to send their students to us. The university has over 100 agreements and MOUs with universities, with other institutions, with crop agencies, and with governments. And all of that is designed to give more opportunities for our students to, for instance, go and study and gain experience in other universities, for other universities to send their students to us, so we have a more international outlook in what we do. It means that we can collaborate with other researchers in dealing with major problems that require combined effort. We can, as a university, undertake projects, manage projects that are not purely university type, because the university is, in addition to being a university, it is also a crop agency, member of the Council of Regional Organizations. And in that, it has major responsibilities in the area of education as well as in the area of ICTs. So through these MOUs, we are able to actually operate in countries that are not members of USP. We see that as very important. The university needs to have good international profiling, access to lab facilities where we don't have them. We want to make sure that our students have the opportunity to see how other universities are run, how they can study in other places.
This year you have mentioned that this year enrollment was something around 27,000, and in 2012 it was like 24,000. That's a record high number of enrollment. So can we expect this trend to continue?
The reason why we feel that this upward increase in enrollment will continue is because by global standards, the participation of the population in tertiary education in the Pacific is well below the global average. 2014, I think we were expecting 6% increase on the 24,000. So in terms of numbers, we probably were looking at 26,000 or 25,000 to 25,500.
Postgraduate research has always been an area that you speak about with a lot of passion and commitment. Can we expect to see more emphasis in this area?
The strategic plan sees a very significant increase in research as a whole, and then in postgraduate studies. And by 2018, we expect the university to have very decent record of having enough postgraduate students and in making a contribution in research. In 2011, we had around 10% of our total enrollment at the postgraduate level. We want to be around 20% of total enrollment in 2018 and have as many as 200 PhD students. It takes a lot of effort to shift gear in terms of being largely an undergraduate university to being one which is significantly involved in postgraduate studies. This year we had a reasonable increase in the area of postgraduate studies, and we have introduced PhD scholarships ourselves, because within that postgraduate area we want to push a lot more research masters and PhDs. There's been reasonably good response to the PhD scholarships, but we've not been able to diversify to the other countries. And what we aim to do is to make sure that these opportunities are available to all the other countries. I am positive that with a larger number of professors that we are recruiting and the incentives that we are giving to early completion of postgraduate programs, and recognition that we're giving to staff for supervising students who complete in a timely manner, that we will actually have more opportunities. Certainly the intention is to continue to focus our efforts in the area of encouraging a lot more postgraduate studies. We also feel that having spent the last 45 years producing largely undergraduate students, the university has enough graduates in the region now to have a strong postgraduate program, and we are seeing a lot of very positive response to that.
When we talk about the regional expansion of the university, how do you see this in the wider scope of Pacific higher education?
The university is becoming very central to the regional effort to raise the access to higher education as well as quality of higher education. So the plans that we have in terms of newer campuses, expansion of campuses, are all within that framework, and we see that being strongly supported by governments and development partners who all realize that without a cadre of highly qualified people, many of the things that governments or development partners are trying to do will not succeed as much as they would if we had good universities and very high quality graduates. We have a collective responsibility to improve higher education across, not just at the university, but for everybody. So we have formed the Association of Heads of Tertiary Institutions in the Pacific Islands, where we bring all of the national tertiary institutions together so that as heads of those institutions we can talk about everything from where we think higher education should be to very practical issues about whether we can procure together with mutual benefit, or whether we can share learning resources, or how do we articulate the qualifications from one institution to the other. Our expansion in the region is also very much tied to very interesting and very transformative changes that are taking place in the ICT area. After a long time, Pacific Island countries are now getting marine fiber optic cables. Fiji was, of course, among the first to get it, and now Marshall Islands has got marine cable. We have signed an agreement with them that will not only improve USP net, but it will also help the Ministry of Education and other tertiary institutions. We hope to sign an agreement with Tonga and Vanuatu perhaps in the first quarter of next year. The Fiji government's announcement of is very significantly expanded budgetary support for education, I think has to be seen as a highlight for anybody interested in education. But for universities, its announcement of a scholarships and loans scheme, I think is truly transformative, and it brings tertiary education really within reach of every qualified Fijian. If you're creating a knowledge society, this is going to fast track it, and it has the capacity to reinforce Fiji's role as a hub for tertiary education and a hub for information and communication technology. So that, I would say, as we look beyond the university, that would have to be one of the highlights. In that respect, I also want to say that in all the achievements that we have been identifying, The support of the Fiji government as the largest funder of the university has been absolutely critical. And we've been very pleased that relationship is strong and it's been very professional and constructive. And we feel that in 2013 we've continued to demonstrate to the Fiji government and the people of Fiji that USP provides great value for the contribution that the Fiji government makes.
We see a popular catchphrase coined by yourself is USP will move from being a good university to one that is excellent. Can you elaborate on that? I mean, on the scale of good to excellent, where's the university now?
We felt that after 45 years, the general verdict is that the university is a good university. People ask me, so how do you know it's a good university? Well, you know it by the results of external validations, of quality audits, accreditations that the university obtains. But you also know it by what your students are doing. So clearly, if students come to the university in greater numbers, you know that you are doing a relatively good job. Attraction of staff. But we've also been getting that confirmation from many other sources, such as when the review of the Pacific Plain was done. It was said all over the region and in countries that are not members of USP that they saw USP as the best example and the most successful example of regional cooperation. The big challenge was, is that good enough? And clearly, good is not good enough because there are steps ahead of being good. So we felt that we needed to raise this to the next level. We want to, for instance, be at the cutting edge of new pedagogy. This is exploiting newer techniques of learning and teaching, exploiting fully the ICT-enabled learning, such as online, which are more than simply instruments of access, because a good online teaching is also innovative way of engaging with the students. We want to be seen as the best place in the world for Pacific studies. Clearly that is our forte. We need to demonstrate to everybody in the world that if you want to study the Pacific, USP is the unquestioned and most attractive place. It's much easier to fix a budget deficit. It's much harder to persuade people or to carry them through so that they do much more, they do it much better, and they aspire to excellence by themselves, not because somebody will measure it, but because they feel more satisfied.
Climate change, no doubt, is now a major global issue, and especially here in the region. So, how do you see USP placed not just as a Pacific institution, but also internationally to contribute in terms of compelling research in this area?
The contribution that USP makes to climate change is span a number of areas. First, it has a very important role in being at the forefront of what is actually happening in the climate change arena globally, and to be able to bring that to the region. So it's a role in which USP is highly connected with researchers, with international meetings, with international declarations on climate change. Second, USP as a university plays a very important role in research. That ranges from doing climate change modeling which is one of our strengths, because a lot of the climate change models are actually global models, or they are large regional models. And what we don't have is a scaling down of those models for the Pacific region or for individual countries to the extent that that can be done. So we are building good capacity for modeling that scientifically. And of course, that is where connections and collaboration and networking with reputable institutions elsewhere helps. But we also have a very important role in training the scientists and the social scientists who can deal with the issues of climate change in our region. We are ensuring that there are good undergraduate and postgraduate programs that will produce the kind of researchers or policymakers or negotiators that the region needs to play this role. We can reach out the communities in a way that no other organization can reach out, in the sense that we have 14 campuses in the Pacific Islands. We have students who go back to their villages and settlements. And that really gives a lot of reach in terms of doing very community level research and outreach activities. We also have experimented in using our postgraduate students to support national delegations to important meetings. And because these are the people who are actually being trained in that area, that has been found to be quite useful.
Finally, we see where do you see USP heading beyond 2018?
I think that what should guide USP beyond 2018 would be the next shift in USP. We should be from excellent to great. It's a very interesting trajectory, because when we began talking about what would we like USP to be, we began by thinking that USP should be among the great universities. There's no reason why USP can't be a great university. But the distance from where we were to being great university was simply too large. And so we settled on a midway point, or a point above where we were. So I would say that if I had any advice to give or had input to provide, I would say that we hang it around the idea from excellent to great, and then make the university think really hard about what that step is going to be. We have a plan to increase our membership to 15 by 2018 from the current 12, but they're all countries within the Pacific Island region. But the university is actually a unique and very attractive model of collaboration and cooperation. And I think there are very good prospects to look beyond the Pacific Islands to see whether this university could really expand beyond the Pacific Islands. So in terms of going forward, you obviously will build on all the things that we have been doing. And in many ways, there has been such rapid change that one is worried about thinking too far ahead, because the future we imagine now will not be the future very likely that will actually eventuate.